Now we have to get into this interview, part 2 of our interview with WarBeard Hanson. We talked about him in chaotic wrestling. We talked about the injuries. We talked about him changing his character. Let's get back to the interview, part 2 of our interview with Ring of Honor star WarBeard Hanson.
So one thing we didn't get into, but I think is actually kind of cool story, was when at one point you were making inroads with WWE, and Nova, Mike Bucci was
Simon Dean. Yeah,
Simon Dean was running it. He kind of was had the idea for you to kind of do the gimmick you have now. Talk about that for a second.
He definitely did, and since then, when I came back and I started doing this character, I've emailed him, messaged him on Facebook, and just a couple times just to thank him for all of his help. But yeah, he envisioned like a Buzz Sawyer, Dr. Death C. Williams kind of image for me, and I wasn't feeling it.
Right. And he was the guy who said stop trying to be handsome and
Johnny,
pretty and stuff like that, and just kind of embrace that you're a big, rugged freaking guy.
Yeah.
Because you didn't... And people see the way you move now, people who are familiar with you listening to this, you obviously don't move like a guy your size, but you wrestle your size much more now than the way you used to. We used to have matches. I mean, it should have been bigger guy, bigger, big guy, bigger guy, but we wrestled big guy, little guy. But that's kind of the style you wrestled. You threw yourself around. You were able to do these athletic things, and you could do them, so you wanted to do them like the mistake we all make.
Right. You love Mr. Perfect, so you do a lot of Mr. Perfect type bumps.
Yeah.
And that probably wasn't good for you.
Not in those chaotic rings, no. Nova. There was Nova's initial kind of idea, when he saw me,
which is kind of cool. It's kind of a cool. I mean, it is and it isn't. Because you obviously you didn't take the advice because you're resistant at that point. But ultimately, it's what it's what your success has been.
And it was hard too. Not to blame anybody else, because I definitely wasn't really feeling it either. But none of the promotions around here would book me into anything but Handsome Johnny. So it was really difficult to be able to figure out that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big. When somebody says to you, "Hey, I want to change," you think you should change everything you've ever been. That's a tough pill to swallow.
Right.
Yeah.
And it took another injury for you to go away again and really reinvent yourself.
Yeah, it did.
So what was it? There's the shoulder this time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, finally the shoulder just gave out on me.
And you've been working with that shoulder since Turkey, which was 2006.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I wrestled Brandon in the cage.
Brandon Locke?
Brandon Locke. Yeah, it really sucked because I had so many failures with WWE and so many, when Johnny Ace, says, "You're a fat RVD," or whatever. So many opportunities with them that the door shut my face. I did that All Japan tryout with Dory. Door shut my face. Too heavy. With Nova gave me and Tommaso both 2 tasks. He wanted Tommaso to go to Harley's to train, and he wanted me to go to Puerto Rico. So he got Tommaso in touch with Harley to go to Harley's, and he got me in touch with Bushwhacker Luke to go to Puerto Rico. And Bushwhacker Luke gave me the same exact thing that everybody else gave me. You're great. Just get in better shape. So that fell through. And I'm pretty sure, because Tommaso went to Harley's and got signed.
Right. Tommaso got signed before he ever left.
Because he went. I'm pretty sure if Bushwhacker Luke had just said, "Yeah, I'll take you," I would have got signed there.
I fully believe that as well.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. But I had so many doors shut in my face. Finally, I'm back from the back injury. I'm doing the chaotic thing again. I just won the chaotic wrestling heavyweight title. I had a really good match with Tommaso in Lowell. Mm-hmm. We had that face-to-face promo.
Yeah, there's a YouTube video that Harry Aaron did.
It's Hanson versus Tommaso.
Yeah,
and people from Ring of Honor actually saw that, and there was a little bit of an interest in me right there. And so I wrestled Brandon in the cage
for NECW,
or PWF. I don't know what they were at the time.
Oh, okay.
I think PWF.
Oh, okay.
And I landed on my shoulder bad, and I tore out my whole labrum. It just kept popping. My shoulder kept popping out. I'm like, oh, I'm screwed. And my dad was actually at that show, and he drove me to the hospital that night. And I'm literally getting texts from Tommaso and from Bob Evans, like talking to me about people from Ring of Honor who are interested. And I'm like, I'm on my way to the hospital with my shoulder. Like, oh
Brutal.
my God. Yeah. So, I thought it just popped out. I didn't know what the actual problem was. And insurances suck because they made me do physical therapy for like 2 months.
Yeah, they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay for surgery.
Yeah, before they even did an MRI. And I did the MRI, and the MRI didn't show anything. So when I had shoulder surgery for this, he went in to like shave down a bone spur in the back of my shoulder and remove my AC joint. But he told me right before we went in that he was going to just look at where my labrum connects to my bicep, because that's where I was complaining of all my pain. And he just wanted to see what it looked like before he did anything. So he opened it up, and my labrum, over 50% of the front of my labrum was torn. That's all he did.
That's bad?
Yeah, that's bad.
Okay.
That's bad. Then I guess the front's worse than the back. I don't know why. That's what I was told. And he just sewed that up. He didn't even do the other surgery. He just sewed that up. That was it. So the original surgery would have kept me out for 3 months. This one, when I woke up and I was...
There's got like or at least among our group, a famous picture of you sitting in the hospital all drugged up.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
like,
Sheree thought that was really funny.
but it's one of those things that you look at now like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
shit, this is how far I've come.
Yeah. Yeah. Sheree was there. My girlfriend was there with me in the after the surgery, and I couldn't keep my eyes open. And so she got the whole rundown from the doctor about everything that went down. And when I finally came to the next day, and she kind of explained it to me, it was pretty much I was going to be out for a year and not 3 months like the original plan was. And that hit me hard.
Yeah.
Like really hard. I thought that was it.
I was say, were you thinking like this is it for me? I'm done.
Yeah. I thought there was no way I was coming back from this. And I ate enough Domino's pizza to really believe that. It was rough because I couldn't use one of my arms. And I was stuck at home all day. So all I could do was order pizza. I couldn't even cook anything for myself for a while.
Pizza's good though.
The pizza is good. But I hit rock bottom, and right before I went into the surgery too, because I figured I would just see how everything works. I thought I was coming back, within 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I buzzed my head and I shaved my face, and I decided that I wasn't gonna shave when I came out or when I came back to wrestle. I think in 3 months I'll look a whole, maybe a different person. It'd be
Right.
cool. So I didn't shave anything. I buzzed when I went in, but I didn't shave anything after that.
Didn't shave anything?
Anything.
Oh, hey,
All right.
Poor Cherie.
But I hit rock bottom. I was like 335 pounds or 330 pounds.
And for people to know, you're straight edge. You don't drink, you don't do drugs, you don't smoke. So your vice is food.
Yeah, wonderful food.
I'm right there with you, buddy.
Yes. So I blew up like a balloon because I was like 275 when I went in for surgery. So I blew up real fat, real fast. I hit total rock bottom. And at some point in the recovery, I think I just recently watched for the second time that movie Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. And just decided that I wanted to give wrestling one more shot. And I wanted Ring of Honor to be my goal. And that's what I wanted to do. So I did the juice fasting, the vegetable juice fasting, for I think 60 days was the first time, and then 45 the second time. And I'm losing a total of, I think it was 90 pounds total altogether.
Oh, you look like a different
Yeah, I remember
human being.
because you would still come around, and I remember like 1 month to the next to be like, Jesus, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't AIDS.
Gism Crobies?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It was the vegetable juice fasting.
So when did you start to formulate this new character in your head that you're going to come back as?
In that time period, I had toyed around with like the brand new bad kind of idea in my head for a while, thinking I was coming back. I knew I wanted to be a bad guy. I was gonna have the beard and the longer hair and have a new style singlet, and I wanted to be Todd Hanson. I didn't want to be Handsome Johnny. I just wanted to be more I wanted to embrace what I looked like.
Right.
Because I never had. No one ever let me. And they always wanted me to be the handsome Johnny. So finally, everyone was okay with me making this transformation. So, yeah, it was in the middle. It was in the middle of that. And all I could think about was coming back because I was having such great strides with my weight loss. And then towards the end of all the weight loss and the DDP yoga, I did a lot of DDP yoga. And then I found CrossFit.
Hope we can get a sponsorship with DDP yoga.
That'd be
great.
lovely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you came back and you started off chaotic. You made like a surprise return. You did one of those deals where you were at the show, but no one they kind of kayfabed it, and no one really knew you were coming back.
Yeah, I don't think anyone knew that I was doing the run-in at the end.
Yeah, you did.
Because in reality, I think I still had like three months left before I was originally. Because I was cleared to come back a lot sooner than I was supposed to come back. I want to say like 3 or 4 months. So yeah, no one knew in the back that I was coming back. I actually forgot about that nobody knew. But yeah, no one knew.
So you came back, and you were talking about the right before you got hurt, the Ring of Honor stuff. How was that waiting for you, or did you have to?
That wasn't waiting for me at all. That was a complete forgotten thought. And at the same point in time, I'd already reinvented my entire look and stuff.
Right.
I think someone at that point, it wasn't like real interest. It was like, oh wow, look at that match with Tommaso and this fat handsome guy. That was kind of good. we should look at it. But I'm sure it was like just kind of a passing thought. It wasn't real in depth. No one from Ring of Honor actually even talked to me, so I don't know. Anyway,
so you said that was your goal. So how did you get back to that point?
At that point in time, they were doing the tryout camps.
Right. Okay.
So I ended up. I was on the same one with Brian Fury. Me and Brian Fury drove down. It was actually the week of the Boston Marathon bombing. Because when me and Fury drove down, we were listening to the all the news because they were capturing the last one. They were trying to catch the two of them, and they finally cornered the last one. So it was right around there. We went to the tryout camp, and I killed it, I guess.
Well, it's kind of like because Brian was not funny, but ironic that because Brian had already kind of a little bit established with them, had made some inroads with them, and then heading into that top prospect tournament, you did. I mean, the feeling I think with like Brian and stuff was that was probably going to be Brian's spot, and then Brian broke his ankle, and then the opportunity was presented for you.
I jinxed Brian.
What did you say? Break a leg or whatever?
we did we did that tryout camp, and it went really well. And the feedback I got at the time, I came back. I'm sure you guys remember I was wearing a singlet. Mm-hmm. But I still have this because I was so heavy. I have like loose skin around my stomach, so it's not very flattering. So they loved me, but they didn't like my gear. They hated it. So Delirious, he was thinking more Native American style thing for me to wear.
Yay!
Yeah. So I took that and I came up with what I'm wearing now, the war skirt or fupa cover, whatever you want to call it. That's what I
laughing at that microphone, Brian. Come on.
That's what I came up with. So I think that was April we had the tryout, and in August me and Fury, Congo, and Vinny, who were all at the same Marcellia, were all at the same tryout camp, and Ring of Honor came to Providence, and we had a TV match. And the winner of the four-way winner of that got a TV title match against Taven on like the next episode of TV. So we did that, and Fury won that, and Fury wrestled Taven.
He was hurt pretty soon after that, I think, right?
Yeah. So we went down to that show with Sonny Goodspeed, and on the way back from that, we were discussing injuries, and Fury at the time had never had a major injury. And I jinxed him because I buried him for never.
You put the whammy on him.
Yeah, he never had health insurance, and he had just gotten health insurance, and he had never gotten hurt, like seriously hurt. And I jinxed him, and it was literally like 2 weeks later he broke his ankle.
So this was the second luckiest break of your career.
Huh?
Yeah, and there's a third one too. So I was literally the last person announced for the top prospect tournament. Mm-hmm. Not only was I the last person announced, but all other 7 competitors were announced, and no one had contacted me yet.
Really?
Yeah, that's how like I felt like last minute. So I got added to it, and I don't know how true this is, but the guy who looked like he was gonna win, broke his leg, like a few weeks before the tournament began, and he had to pull out of the tournament.
Wow, you're just making deals with the devil all over the place, just putting
yeah.
X's on people.
Sold his soul 6 times over.
Yeah, he seemed like the guy that they were going to push, and I felt terrible for him. But I didn't know the whole time. Like I thought for sure I'd lose first round the cheeseburger, being the last guy who was even contacted to be into the tournament.
That's the way this business works, though. Like crazy stuff like that happens, and then all of a sudden you're thrust. I actually listened to an interview with Mike Hollow today, and the one thing Mike is very good at always talking about is, are you going to be ready when the opportunity presents itself? Because you never know when it might present itself. And in this case, it did unexpectedly, but you were more than ready for it.
100%. I was totally ready for it, and it worked out well. And I don't know, maybe I just won because they thought I could have the best match with Tommaso because the winner got a match with Tommaso. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know, but yeah, I was ready for it.
So Ray Rowe was also in that tournament, right?
Yeah, I met Ray in the finals. We never met before. He actually knew Biff from Texas.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know that they knew each other.
Yeah, their paths crossed in Texas. So Biff gave me the lowdown on him. So I knew about him, what his deal was. We met in the finals of the tournament, and we didn't know, much like the first day of the tournament, we didn't know who was going to win any of the matches until the show already started. So we didn't know who was going to win our match until the show had already started.
Yeah.
So, but we ended up having a really good match, hard hitting, like big guy match because Ray's big too, and I won.
That's
fucking right.
Whoa! All right, damn
I
right.
won.
So how long after that did the idea come about for War Machine?
They put us together, and it made so much sense because Ray and I are so similar. It's ridiculous. And we didn't know it because we didn't know each other, but we're both straight edge. We both had similar issues with our careers where injuries have held us back or being in shape has held us back or whatnot.
You're beautifully bearded, might I say, both of you?
Yeah. So very similar. And then they put us together as a tag team. I want to say it was the next show.
Yeah.
So they had the idea fairly quickly then after the Top Prospect tournament.
Yeah, pretty much. Because we both had a singles match. I wrestled Tommaso for the TV title. He wrestled Elgin. And the next night it was TV, and they put us together.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah, it was real quick.
Obviously, I mean, they put you in the finals together, Obviously, maybe they had an eye on this.
Yeah, they probably had a plan for this before.
For a little bit.
Yeah, for a while. And it was definitely the right decision.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Now we're talking. What year is this we're talking about here?
2014.
So 2014. So now, I mean, we've kind of come the full gamut here now, and talking about how you were a guy who had the door shut in your face so many times over and over. You faced personal challenges, financial challenges, family challenges, injury after injury,
girlfriend challenges.
Yes, girlfriend challenges. And yet here you are, never giving up. 14 years at that point, 13 years? 13 years in the business, finally getting the opportunity to step on a national stage with an international company, really, because Ring of Honor has been overseas. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, for the first, just talk about that feeling. What's that moment like when Ring of Honor says to you, hey, we want to give you your first national deal 13 years into your career?
That show where they put us together as a tag team was the same day they offered us contracts. So that was absolutely surreal to coming from where I came from, even where Ray came from, and reaching that point where this company is offering us a contract. It was just absolutely surreal. Yeah, I mean that's really all I can say about it. It was absolutely surreal.
You said I can't sign right now. I have to let Laura look at this.
Exactly. Well, I got to reach out to WWE first.
Well, I mean they were real cool to me too because they knew that I had done the tryout 6 months, 7 months earlier. Kevin Kelly's one who kind of talked to me about it, and he said, we know you have a relationship with WWE, so just before you sign this, make sure you're okay with that, and we'll go forward. So they were really cool about that.
That's a very cool move of them. To to at least, give you that opportunity. Because, I mean, obviously the money, it's in a different stratosphere with WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess just to backtrack, and how did the WWE tryout come up? You did a week down in Florida?
So I think it was 4 months after the Ring of Honor tryout camp. I did the first tryout at the Performance Center that they had. So it was literally the opening tryout camp they had at the Performance Center. And that was literally...
now, was this you paid, or was it by invitation?
No, invitation. It was actually thanks to Jamie. Jamie...
Chaotic Wrestling owner, Jamie Jimikowski.
Yeah. He was talking with Canyon and just happened to mention my name and, just my story.
It's talent relations, Canyon Seaman, right?
Yeah. Just my story of what how I transformed, the injury, coming back, the transformation, and it piqued his interest. So he said, send them. that was it. So and I wasn't expecting that at all. Like I said, I came to terms with my shoulder injury that I was never going to make it at the WWE. I came to terms with that, and I was okay with that. So my goal was Ring of Honor because I knew I was a good wrestler, and that's where I wanted to be. And this just happened to kind of fall in my lap. So I gave it a shot.
Who was down there with you?
It was quite the camp. So I think we talked earlier. Keith Lee was down there. He's saying, "I believe I can fly."
So awesome.
You sure can.
The Wolves were down there. Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards. Sean Burke was down there. Matt Cross was there. A bunch of guys who never wrestled before as well.
Right.
Who were enormous and
Of course.
ridiculous. Joey Ryan was there.
Okay.
The lifeguard. Everyone called him the lifeguard. The kid from
Billy Kryptonite?
No, a kid from upstate.
I am shit factor.
the kid from upstate New York who does the. It doesn't matter.
Oh, Vince Beach.
Vince Beach. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I give you a little story about Vince Beach from this, and I never told him this. So if he's listening, sorry, buddy.
Hopefully he's listening.
So we had double sessions the first day. And they had packets with all of our pictures in it, and names and like profiles and stuff. So people like Gerald Briscoe could know who we were. Otherwise, he'd have no idea and wouldn't be able to remember. So they had their packets, and there was double session the first day. We did the first session, came back, did all of our stretching stuff in the ring, bridges and warm ups and stuff like that. So I won't say whose packet was open, but there was a packet that was open on the ring that I was at while we were warming up. And it was open to Vince Beach's page. And Vince Beach had a giant X through his face with Sharpie.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Terrible. This was the first day?
First day.
Oh,
and
boy.
Maybe that meant good. Maybe that meant, like, yes, to this guy.
X marks the spot?
And I felt so bad for him, too, because... And I've never wrestled him or even seen him have a full match before, so I can't really judge his wrestling. But... he was the first guy in line for every drill. Like, everyone had a number, and they randomly gave him number 1. So he had to start every single drill that we did. So he was doomed from the beginning. Like there was no
Right.
That's a lot of pressure to have to be the first guy to get in the ring every single time and start every drill. Poor kid. Yeah.
It's always good to see.
He was dead in the water. Had to spend a whole week there with no hope.
So what were the days like for the camp?
First day was double session, and it was a lot of just he did all the warm-ups and stuff, push-ups, squats, bridges, and then you do all the drills, which are just normal drills, regal rolls, and a lot of things have changed now because DeMott was in charge then, and now Matt Bloom is in charge.
Yes.
But yeah, it was a lot of rolls, hitting the ropes, crisscrosses, up and overs in the corner, just like basic wrestling stuff. And because a lot of guys who come there who are already trained have bad habits, so they're trying to teach you their way. So they want to see if you're coachable, pretty much. Mm-hmm. So if you suck at something, or they think you suck at something, they want to know that they can tell you how to fix it, and then you fix it, or at least make that effort to fix it. And then they want to put you through hell to see if test your brain to see if you're a quitter. So they put you through all sorts of push-ups and like grape squishers in the corner, which were just you hold the top rope and you do high knees. Your knees have to go over the second turnbuckle, and you just keep going until you drop.
If you can't hack this, and they're not going to sign you because you're not going to be able to hack life on the road.
Exactly. They want to see what you're made of.
Did you do squats on the top rope?
No.
I'd seen that as one of DeMott's things that he
Squats
would
on the
do.
top rope.
That's pretty heroic. But no, we did not do that.
I think if I ever went to a tryout, they told me to do squats on the top rope, I'd be like, well, it was nice. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'll see you later.
And then the next day we did the same thing, the drills and stuff. Had matches. I was me and Aaron Solo.
Okay, I've heard the name.
Yeah. We had the first call it in the ring match. Boy, would Dijak be mad. Call it in the ring match. Inside joke.
Not that inside.
We had a call it in the ring match. Me and Aaron, and that wasn't bad. Got the critique I thought we were going to get, especially from JR. It's rough though when you have to get in the ring with somebody you've never met before, and then me having a good idea of what they're going to be looking for, and him not so much. And then when the match is over with and we get critique, it's like, oh, well, if we had called this beforehand, probably wouldn't have happened that way.
So it was one of those, well, that was not so terrible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no.
The famous
line.
Todd Hanson backhanded I didn't want to kill myself.
Yeah, I had one of those matches. And then when we did the call in the ring matches, I was close to the cut to not get one of those. And I remember it was the last match they're picking, and they picked Sean Burke, and I kind of took a step, I'm in line, and Bill DeMott's looking. I kind of take a step forward, and then Bill DeMott picks me. Yes.
I figured he'd have a soft spot in his heart for an athletic big man.
He did actually. When he talked to me like towards the end of the camp and stuff, he did, and then he got fired, so that worked out real well for me.
Just like Jamie Noble at TV used to love all the little midgets.
yes, he
Oh,
did.
come on now.
So, the next series of matches, you got to call them ahead of time. And I don't know, we were the fourth match, and the three matches in front of us got the whistle blown in the middle of it. So in my head, they didn't even finish.
Right.
So in my head, one of them, I don't know who it was. It was a little, a jacked up, gassed up Arabic kid. He was 19, and some other guy. And they started fighting in the ring, and DeMott blew his whistle. And DeMott's like, what's going on here? And the little jacked up Arabic kid goes, he won't let me get my shit in.
Oh boy.
I wish the people could see it, because I literally did this.
He's taking his beard and covering his mouth
while I laugh. But he blew whistles for the first 3 or 4 matches. So when me and Burke got in the ring, I'm like, the goal is to just not get the whistle blown. Let's just make it through the match. So we were the first match that did not get the whistle blown.
It's a pretty damn good feeling.
I was pretty proud, but it was a real.
At that point, Todd's like, just got a contract.
And we did promos. That's where Keith Lee sang "I Believe I Can Fly." I recently rode with Keith, and I got to remind him of all the ridiculous things that happened on that.
I recently we talk about it kind of off air, but I recently came across Keith Lee. He was a freak athlete, tremendous athlete.
So he was there, and he sang "I Believe I Can Fly." That was awesome.
And then he just recently attacked you.
He did.
Son of a bitch.
He did.
Jesus.
You son of a bitch, Keith Lee.
He's very strong.
So how did that week end for you? How did you feel coming out of that?
I felt really good, and I went down there in my brain, and it's really all it is. And I wish I thought of this years ago, but it's just a casting call. Is all it is. You go down there, and if you fit a certain mold that they're looking for, then they're going to sign you. And I mean, I always think back to Kofi.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Kofi never would have got signed if he didn't do his Jamaican character, and Dean Malenko didn't happen to remember that Paul Heyman had mentioned once that he wanted the Jamaican character for ECW. If there was no connection, if that wasn't there,
right.
Kofi may have never gotten signed.
It's all about, aside from just being good and being prepared, having a good look, it's all about right place, right time, right situation. Just because you're all of those things doesn't mean they have a role for you, but that doesn't mean they won't have a role for you 6 months, a year, 2 years down the road. They might never, but it really is right place, right time, right situation.
So
unless you're some sort of 6'7", jacked up freak,
something I think they could mold into something special. So I mean, he said the same to Eddie Edwards too. Like he said to Eddie Edwards that we have 10, 12, 6-foot white guys. I don't know if it's in the cards right now for you. He said to me, if we're looking for an Icelandic warrior, then we know who to call.
Or a Wyatt.
or a Wyatt. He didn't say that. But yeah, they just signed that Braun, whatever his name
Strowman,
is. Yeah, he had just gotten down there, so I figured I wasn't getting signed just because he was there. What did he need me for? So yeah, that's. I felt good about it. It's if they need an Icelandic warrior, then they know who to call.
Right.
So I didn't, and we all got. You get an email after the tryout to let you know whether to quit the business or if they'd be interested down the road. Now I got one of the ones. Today, this time isn't the time, but we're definitely interested in you. And they actually sent you quotes from the trainers of things they said about you. I don't remember 100% what mine were. I'll have to look it up. But there's nothing negative. It was all good feedback. Which
is good, because then now, we'd already talked about the Ring of Honor stuff, but I think one thing, that I think it's kind of known WWE likes is guys to go out and make themselves elsewhere if they're not with WWE.
Right.
There's something to be said for persevering, getting that door shut in your face and not being a crybaby about it and going out and saying, well, shit, I'll go to do this Ring of Honor. And,
Makes me think of Fred Sampson. How many times he was an extra
at TV. We used to go to TV with Fred Sampson, who's Darren Young now, and all the boys knew him. He was on first name basis with everybody back there. Yeah.
He was security more often than Tony Omega.
Yes,
he was just 6 times a year he would be there. But yeah, he just kept going, and finally, I don't know, something opened up and he was in there. So fast forwarding back to Ring of Honor, you were something going really good with Ray Rowe in War Machine. It seemed like you were heading toward the tag titles.
Yeah, we just had a big match in Philly with the Briscoes. Big match. It ended in no DQ. Briscoes are the measuring stick of Ring of Honor. So there was no winner. We went through a table. It was a big
right.
And that was our big breakout match because we hadn't wrestled anybody yet, and we wrestled the measuring stick for tag team wrestling in Ring of Honor with the Briscoes. Went to a no contest. So
this was in Philly.
This was in Philly.
A notoriously tough wrestling crowd as well.
And the crowd was with us. Mm-hmm. And then Ray texted me 2 days later a selfie in a neck brace with a cut above his eye. I thought it was a rib. Ray decided to try to eat a car with his face.
It was a motorcycle accident, correct?
Oh, that's right. A motorcycle accident. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Hey, don't give the story away. Maybe if we know somebody who knows Ray Rowe, maybe he could come on the Wrestling Podcast About Nothing sometime. I'm just saying.
You never know. So, yeah, it seemed like you were destined for the tag titles at that time, and then that kind of was, again, ripped from you before.
Yeah, we were obviously starting some sort of a build towards the tag titles, obviously. At least we hoped the tag titles. And then Ray had the motorcycle accident, which he really legit should have died. And I won't go into details for that because Ray will probably be on your show and he'll be able to go into detail. Or you can buy his DVD, which he tries to sell all the time, his documentary, which is really good. So if you haven't seen it.
It's called The Path? Is that what it's called? Yes.
Yeah. It's amazing that he didn't die, especially because he didn't have a helmet on.
Whoa, Jesus.
Yeah. He's very, very, very lucky. So, obviously, I was terrified that Ray ruined my career.
just berating him in texts.
Yeah, I was yelling at him. What's wrong with you? You've ruined my life.
It was like when one of the Bella twins told the other one that she wished she died in the womb.
Oh my God. Just
like that.
Oh my God.
That happened.
Yeah, I'm aware. I tried to black it out, but
both Ray and I didn't know what was going to happen at that point because he was out. He was under contract, but he couldn't wrestle. He couldn't do anything. He didn't have the income coming in, and we were a tag team. I didn't know what Ring of Honor would find with value with me. If all their plans were going to be tag team stuff, I didn't know. I knew that I needed to do something to hopefully keep us alive, so that when Ray came back, we'd still have interest in us. And I just didn't know what were in our cards. And Ring of Honor was really good to Ray and told him whenever he's ready to come back, and the spot's open for him. And then they just kind of threw me to the wolves to see how I could do in singles.
Yeah, you had a number of pretty high profile matches. I remember one was AJ Styles.
Yeah,
and it was set the internet on fire. This match, I remember reading buzz about it on Twitter.
Yeah, I remember getting an email from the head booker Ring of Honor, and he's like, "Hey, do you think you could have a good match with AJ Styles?" Yes, please, God, yes, please.
No, I don't think so. It's like the Goldberg T-shirt situation again. No, I don't think so.
So I done some single stuff, and the matches have been going really well. And I don't know, people were expecting them to go real well, and they were going real well, like with Roderick Strong and Adam Cole. And then the AJ Styles thing was thrown in my lap, and it was pretty much sink or swim. I think it was for ROH TV. It was in Lakeland, Florida, main event for TV, and it was awesome. It was. It did set the internet on fire because people didn't expect me to be able to, number one, let alone hang with AJ Styles, but to be able to do some of the things that I did in the match. They just, because no one had really seen me at that point in time. So it was, that is the match that actually put eyes on me for people to see what I could do.
Right. So Ray did come back eventually. It was a long road for him. So eventually you did get a shot at the tag titles. And do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. It was Final Battle in Philly again. Philly was like a major city for us. Philly is where we had our last match before we got hurt, and then Philly was we had our major tag match with the Kingdom to set up going into the actual tag title match against the Kingdom at Final Battle. So Philly was kind of big for us, and it's live on pay-per-view, and probably the second move of the match, Taven blew his knee out completely. So we just steamrolled him.
He's still currently out with that injury.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that it was it ended up being a really quick match.
Yeah. We were excited because it was going to be our first time, really our first time to be showcased in a high-profile match. We've done a lot of squashes or a lot of matches where we steamrolled guys, and this was going to be our first one that had time, that we were able to show, what War Machine can do, and it was over in 2-3 minutes.
Well, but one kind of cool thing about this is now you're culminating. Now you're actually like one half of a world championship tag team. But again, your life and your career coming full circle because Mike Bennett is a guy who, when we started working a very small promotion back at the beginning of our careers, was right there with us.
Back when he was originally the Miracle.
And then Matt Taven, did you not have a backyard wrestling promotion feud with Matt Taven's backyard promotion?
Yeah.
So.
Listen to Biff and Ted's excellent podcast adventure for Tales in Backyard Wrestling.
Yeah,
So-
it's been really cool to wrestle Taven just around. Been around the world. To know that we both came from the same high school and we had our own little backyard feds there. We had like one crossover interpromotional match. And then, 15 years later, we're live on pay-per-view wrestling for the World Tag Team Championships. And that's
very
cool.
cool when that stuff kind of life is weird.
We talked about it that day and just how really cool that was.
So now you're doing like, and we're going way long here, but this has been a great story.
We have a two-parter here.
Yeah, and I don't know how deep I think the one thing that with us having you on our podcast is that we friggin' have known you for forever, so we can get into some things that people don't even know to ask you.
Exactly.
But now you're doing things like you're going to Europe. You've been to Japan, maybe making inroads of going back to Japan. I mean, just talk about it. Talk about what it means, what it's like to do this, and now live this life that literally, when you were a boy and you saw, we didn't get into it, but you saw the 1-2-3 Kid defeat Razor Ramon. This is the life you've kind of dreamt of, and now living it.
Yeah, it's it's really hard to put into words. So I got a little tattoo.
Oh, look at that!
Huh?
I did see that on.
I saw it online. It's in person. It's lovely.
Describe it. Describe the tattoo.
Well, the tattoo's just the flags of the countries that I've wrestled. So Canada, USA, Japan, and England. And the goal or the idea is to keep filling up my leg.
Just wrap it right around.
Yeah, and just keep going. And hopefully we got Ireland lined up. Maybe Mexico this year. Maybe Germany. We're trying to get places. So we'll see. Me and Ray. But it's hard to put into words what it means because. Especially with the journey, it wasn't like, I think when I started it, because you're so naive, you're like, all right, I'm going to start training to be a wrestler, and I'm going to be in WWE in 2 years.
They're like 2 minutes.
Yeah. And then to go on the roller coaster that I have, from Handsome Johnny Blue, dumping everyone into a gym, to going with Arch and the train, bike, and the rise everybody, and homeless Johnny, and 500 squats with Hollow. And
it's a John Cena T-shirt now, but it's one of his mottos. But literally, never give up, and you never did give up. And and then we joked that because again, you're our buddy and stuff. We've known you forever, but you really have become a guy who can call yourself an international wrestling star. There are people all over this world now who have paid a ticket to see you wrestle, and I know that's got to be just humbling and awesome and all sorts of different things.
Yeah, and me and Ray make sure, like, at every tour that we've done, just to like pause and say, we're in Japan right now. Somebody paid for us to fly over here, and they're paying us to fake fight other men in spandex right now, which just happens to be our dream. But that's happening in Japan right now, or in England, or in Canada, or in Las Vegas, or in Lakeland, Florida, or Minnesota, or wherever.
Taking you places you never would have gone in your life if it weren't for this business. And not only that, you get paid to do it.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome.
I can tell you right now, I would never go to Columbus, Ohio, ever. and I've been there to wrestle.
I drove there before.
And that's awesome.
It's a long, terrible drive to Columbus, Ohio.
But is there a famous Roddy Piper's Pit, talking to a fella from Columbus, Ohio?
I don't remember
It's on a DVD. Watch the Piper DVD.
Yeah, but it's cool and it's surreal, and it's hard to put into words, but it's the greatest feeling in the world. Just being on the road and doing what you've always dreamt of doing. And
then you get, again, being one of my close friends in wrestling, you're familiar with my family. My little girl is 4 years old. She likes coming to the shows. She sees WarBeard at the shows. And then I remember the first time I showed her, you to her on TV. She's blown away by it. But cool. That type of stuff is cool, that's that's what it's all about. So in her eyes now, you've gone from oh, this is my dad's dumb friend that he wrestles with, or that's been to our house to watch wrestling, to ooh, he's on TV like the other wrestlers.
That's so cool. Yeah.
But she doesn't like you though. She told me that today. I told her I was
neither
does
see Alex, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm used to that.
Yes,
with your family.
Yeah.
So we're obviously starting to wrap up here. But is there anything you want to plug? Any appearances? Any? We talked about you have a ProWrestlingTees.com store.
I do have ProWrestlingTees.com. It's WarBeard Hanson. I don't know what the actual address is for, but
it's easy enough.
I think
to
it's
find.
/WarBeard Hanson.
Yeah, there's a Beard is War shirt with the Raw is War logo, and there's a WarBeard Hanson Jurassic
going on
Park
right
logo.
after this interview to buy one.
Yeah, exactly.
You better. And then obviously Twitter and Instagram is at WarBeard Hanson. No slashes or underscores, all just one run-on word. And those are the best places to reach me.
Cool, man.
Plenty of Ring of Honor stuff coming up. We're looking to go to England hopefully again this summer. So just keep watching us on social media, and you'll find us. War Machine.
ROHWrestling.com. You can get a free ringside membership and watch the TV show every week.
Every week.
And there's a pay-per-view coming up.
There is a pay-per-view coming up. It is the end of the month on June 24th, and then there's TV taping June 25th. That's in Concord.
Is that on the
Carolina.
Fight TV app? On the Fight TV
It is
app?
on the Fight TV app. That's
FITE.
An easy way to see it, or just watch it. You can watch it from the Ring of Honor website, which is easy as well, or you can just get it from your TV.
Traditional pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can probably speak for Mike a little bit, but to talk about your journey, also be a part of your journey. It's so cool when you see because you come across a lot of people in this business, but very few friends, and I think both of us consider you a true blue friend, and to see
True blue, I like that.
Yeah. But to see your friends, and again, knowing your journey, know what you've been through, witnessing what you've been through, and to see you now finally getting the recognition that you freaking deserve. like it's very cool, and I'll let Mike speak for himself, but I personally couldn't be, happier for you and proud of you, and keep it up, man. Keep freaking dominating the world right now.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. It's so tremendous. Like when I heard that you were going full time and doing this crazy wrestling thing and nothing else, that's the dream right there. So
I'm paying my bills wrestling. That's so cool.
I just want to leave you with this about your girlfriend, WarBeard.
Uh-oh.
She was mine before she was yours.
Holy Toledo.
And that's for another podcast.
And on that note, we're going to get right out of here. All right. Thanks so much, Todd, for
Thanks,
coming
guys. I
on.
appreciate it.
For more on the Wrestling Podcast About Nothing, subscribe to us wherever you get your favorite podcasts, or find us on our website, thewpan.com. That is thewpan.com.